Yo, what's up guys? Today we are reacting to a video from a channel called Anna Goldman. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. This is 23 things you should never do in Sweden, or how to behave in Sweden if it's your first time in Stockholm. So this video is going to be good for you. Guys, let's go. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's check this out.
23 unwritten rules according to Swedish people what you should never ever do when you're in Sweden. No one wants to be the type of person who is coming to a new country and pissing everyone off.
Okay.
A bunch of unwritten rules you had no idea about. Then I figured it out that it's going to be some people out there who are wondering what they should definitely avoid doing when they come to Sweden next time. Because there are so many no-nos in Sweden. Some of them are more serious than the others, and some of them definitely do not exist in your home country. So today, let's...
Guys, if you're living in Sweden and if you are from Sweden, are you guys picky or strict about what people can and can't do when they go to your country? Let me know in the comments.
dive in, guys.
But let me know if you agree with this list.
Number one, and you better remove your Norwegian hat right away, just not to make them jealous.
Really?
I'm joking.
Okay.
And next week I'm in Norway again. You know exactly what to do. First of all, please like this video. Let's make the algorithm happy, and subscribe to this channel to see again what's new happening in Norway. Did you smash that like button? Tusen tack. Let's dive in.
Listen to her, guys. Like, subscribe, go visit her channel, Anna Goldman.
Number one, and super important, never ever brag about yourself when you're in Sweden. 100% exactly the same as in Norway. Janteloven is following us all around the Nordic countries. You may be the best thing on earth and also the coolest achiever all over the world. But the Swedes have inherent distaste for anyone who is trying to brag about themselves or their accomplishments. That said, a classy humble brag will usually fit just perfectly into passive-aggressive Swedish way. Number two.
Okay, so she said Janteloven. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So Janteloven is probably an expression that I think I've seen this before. It's when people are not supposed to talk about themselves in like highly about themselves, because it's not I can't remember what the whole thing is, but if you guys can, please leave a comment explaining what Janteloven is. Am I saying that right?
And never take the last piece of a sweet treat. Well, here Norwegians don't really care about it much, but hello my French friends, if any of you watching this channel. Swedish people generally avoid taking the last piece of a sweet treat.
And then it just stays there?
Cake, chocolate box and so on, as it can be seen a selfish, rude or just inconsiderate thing to do to others. That said, somebody always get to take that last piece at the end, but only after offering it around for several minutes to everyone and their grandma. Definitely super French way. Number three.
That's what I normally do. Whenever I see a treat, I offer it to everyone. Do you guys want it? Does anybody want the last treat? And then they will normally say, no, you can have it. And then I would be like, no, I don't want to have it. I just don't want to waste food. So if anybody wants it, please take it. Oh, no, I don't want it. You can have it. Please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying I want the last piece. I'm just saying that somebody needs to eat the last piece, and then nobody eats it, and then I go in and said, okay, I'm gonna have it just because, you know, I don't want to waste food. And that's normally what happens. And then when I don't really feel hungry, then oh man, it's sad because I don't like wasting food. So I always offer, you know.
And don't ignore personal space when you're in Sweden. And hello again, exactly the same as in Norway. The Swedish culture naturally is very distant, with Swedes generally keeping their distance to each other out of respect to each other's personal space. And believe me guys, pandemic has nothing to do with this. It was exactly the same even before. Yeah, check this out.
Nice.
And never...
Finally, the terrible 2 distance is over. Now Scandinavians can go back to the usual 5-meter distance. Bro, I think I am Swedish because I don't like people invading my personal space, and I don't like going too close to other people either. So yeah, we're on the right page over there.
Check this out. Number 4, and never open a can of surströmming inside ever. I'm sure you've already seen a number of videos
I have never.
where people opening a can of surströmming and buffing their brains out due to the extremely potted and drunk smell.
What is that?
Immediately spread for 100 yards instantly. The lesson here is never ever under any circumstances open that can of surprisingly delicious fermented herring inside of your house. Will require
Is it good?
industrial grade sanitation efforts afterward. You might as well throw away everything from that room unless you want to keep smelling it for years to come. Number 5.
Bro, I should try that. I should try eating that. She said it's incredibly delicious. Are you guys on the same page? I feel like it's a love or hate situation here. Some of you might love it, some of you might hate it. Let me know in the comments.
Never ever enter somebody's home with your shoes on.
I'm telling you, I'm Swedish.
For 99% of Swedish houses that you must take your shoes off when you enter somebody's house. It is rooted to very practical reasons, as it would be extremely messy if everyone would drag in a mix of mud and snow together with them after a trip outside wintertime. Number 6, and don't act overly chivalrous. Swedish women, the same as Norwegians, might get offended if you run around the car just to open a door for them. Or
Really?
the similar act of chivalry, as a gender equality is a massive thing in both Swedish and Norwegian culture. Smaller acts of general kindness are absolutely fine, such as holding the door open. For example, going with the trend of other Nordic countries in recent years, the Swedish Social Democratic Party elected the first ever female prime minister in 2021. Number 7.
Okay, so I think that's confusing to some guys. They're trying to be, you know, nice and kind towards, you know, a girl, and I think this type of situation needs to be discussed. Like on the first date, if he tries to open the door and she doesn't like it, she should, you know, tell him, okay, you know, please let me open the door next time. You know, I feel like you don't need to do that, and explain it to him. You know, I'm capable of opening my own door, but in other words, you know, not in a rude way. Oh, I can open my own door, thank you. You know, but I don't think she should be offended because he's trying to be, you know, a gentleman. So I think that needs a kind of like an understanding. I understand the fact that, you know, she doesn't want to be pampered maybe, and she likes to feel independent, but at the same time it's something that she shouldn't be offended unless it's constant, you know, unless he is like, because I can imagine, for example, if she's trying to open a can of pickles and then he comes and grabs it from her hand, it might make her feel like, you know, like he doesn't believe that she can open it, even though in his mind is like, okay, let me be a gentleman and show off my strength. So I think, you know, it's something that you need to find a balance. But what do you think about that? Let me know in the comments.
And don't even be lazy. And let's go somewhere a little bit warmer.
Don't what?
7. And don't even be lazy. And let's go somewhere.
Don't evangelize.
Sweden is one of the most secular countries in the world. Trying to push your religious belief onto someone in Sweden will usually result into swift ending of that conversation. And also you will have a very little chance of hanging out with that Swede ever again. To clarify, Swedes are not totally against of talking about any religion, but they strongly dislike when somebody is trying to shove it down their throat. Never stand on the...
I think that's the same in any country. Nobody likes people shoving their beliefs down their throat. But then again, like, if you don't evangelize, how do people know about the new church that has opened? Like, is it a law thing? Like, are you not allowed by law to give out pamphlets in the street? Or what she means by evangelize is like you go to somebody's house for tea and then you start, you know, preaching the good news. Like, because that would be so weird, you know, like if people go to your house and start talking about their religion, which that's not why you're there, you know, or that's not why you invited the person. But when she said evangelize, I immediately thought of people giving pamphlets out in the street. Is that not something that you're allowed to do, maybe by law? Or is it something people don't like to do? Because it's the same for every other instant. If there's an event, people are gonna, you know, give out pamphlets. So just clear that up if you can. And number 8, do not stand on the left side. I mean, that's in any place. Come on.
The left, the escalator. This is exactly the same principle we are applying in London. Okay guys, I'm trying my best to film as much as I can outside from the streets of Stockholm, but it's extremely cold. It's like -5 and my camera actually doesn't work. It doesn't want to film. So at some point, unfortunately, I will have to take you indoors. But good news is I will be back to Sweden closer to summer when it's a little bit warmer, and I definitely show you more content from Sweden and from other Nordic countries. Not to miss it out, you know exactly what to do. Please subscribe to this channel and also don't forget to smash that like button. Let's make the algorithm happy and me even happier. Did you smash it? Thank you so much. Tusen tack. And it's just...
Let's do that, guys. Let's smash that like button. Go on her video. Smash the like button, smash it here also.
And it's not just my camera which doesn't work. I cannot feel my fingers and I cannot feel my nose and my lips are getting all numb. So guys, I'm sorry I did my best, but I have to take it indoors. Let's go, let's get something warmer. No.
Yeah, I thought there's some people fighting outside, but I thought she was from Russia. Isn't Russia like colder? Isn't she used to it?
Number 9 and much warmer. Number 9, never ostracize your kids in public. In Sweden, Swedes can react quite strongly to anyone scolding or punishing their kids in public and will not hesitate to come up and give you surprisingly vocal, by Swedish standards, lecture in parenting. Number 10.
Okay, so here we go. This is interesting because there are so many social experiments around the world. I would love to see how Swedish people react to those videos where people like in New York just walk away and don't do anything. And I would love to see social experiments from Sweden, seeing how, you know, things pan out.
And do not forget to pay your share of the tap when you're in Sweden. This will never happen in Norway because there is no tap culture here. In Norway, you pay your own drink and be happy. After a long week, Swedes love going out to the bar with their colleagues to blow some steam off, also called AWs, after work.
AWs.
I feel like I really got a little bit sick after filming all day on a cold in Sweden. Thank you so much, Stockholm. Yeah, you tried to kill Norwegian. Well, then fine.
Wait, she's Norwegian? I thought she said she was Russian in another video. But anyways, here's the thing. Do you guys prefer paying the tab by yourself, like your part of the tab, or do you prefer sharing? I prefer paying my part, especially because if I don't want to spend a lot of money, then I'll just drink, like, you know, sparkling water and something very light. But then I'd have to pay like as if I had consumed a lot of things. I don't like that. So I'd prefer paying whatever I consume instead of sharing. Unless everybody is going for the same thing, like if it's like one fixed price, then okay, that's fine. It's gonna end up being the same thing. Well, that's just my opinion.
Try not to and cough all the time, but my nose is unpleasantly blocked. Ew. If you, for any reason, would miss to pay for your share of any shared bill. That might be accrued on your table as a whole, and you will never hear or feel the end of it from your Swedish colleagues. Number 11, and don't talk politics with strangers. This may not be a unique thing just for Sweden, but it is considered to be very rude and provocative to bring up politics and discuss it with people you've just met over here. It is always a recipe for disaster, especially in modern times when a big chunk of Swedish population vote for far right or far left parties. Number 12.
That's something my father used to say, like, never discuss religion, politics, or even sports. Whenever there's a fan base, whenever there's fanatism, bro, don't enter a discussion, because, you know, people have their own beliefs and people have their own likes and interests. So, you know, respect other people's beliefs and leave it at that, but don't go into discussions and try to convince people. You know, it's something that you're gonna lose friends over, you know.
And equally applicable for all Nordic countries. Never ever go outside without appropriate clothing if you don't want to get sick like me. It's probably the funniest thing I've heard in Stockholm. You know what Swedish saying? They saying that there is a Swedish saying that there is no such thing as bad weather.
I've never heard that before. Yeah. You know, every time I hear anything about Swedish weather, this phrase comes up.
What?
What?
If it's not the first time you see me, you perfectly know that it's Norwegian saying Norwegian. Anyway, in every single Nordic country, walking out on
Yo, is that Norwegian or is that Swedish? Where does that saying come from?
a cold winter day without appropriate clothing will result in expressions of disbeliefs of all Nordic people. And some might even get upset and urge you to reconsider your lax stance on clothing. Number 13, and probably my favorite one, never ever act chauvinistic towards women. Again, totally applicable for both Norway and Sweden. While Nordic women might be renowned for their looks in certain parts of the world, there is nothing that will cool their interest in you as a whistle or a catch-all. Number 14, and never ever cut people in the line. Swedes, same as British, have a weirdly strong belief in queuing for stuff. And even stronger belief in the sanctity of the line order. Cutting in line might be the rudest thing you can possibly do in Sweden, and will produce a very strong reaction from those you have just cut in front of. Number 15.
You know, that would be an interesting experiment to do. That would be mean though. And it's funny because in my country, Brazil, there are lots of people who love queuing as well. I remember that, you know, there was a guy who was just, I think, waiting for his wife or something, or, you know, he was just standing, playing on his phone, and then people started queuing up behind him, and the queue never moved. And then when I saw that, I was like, wait, I don't think that guy's in the queue. And everybody was just standing behind him. People just see a queue and they go in.
And never ever ask how much someone is making in Sweden. Totally different from Norway. It's not like we really don't care, we just know. Yes, we know for sure. As your income in Norway is openly published online. So what's the point of asking if you can just go online and check? And we love discussing.
How do you guys feel about your income being shared online?
Prices on anything and everything in Norway. After an hour conversation of discussing how much we spent on dentist last month and how much we are going to spend on that vacation this summer, we suddenly remember that we're humble. So we will add, and it's bloody expensive. That's what Norwegians do. The majority of Swedish people will be absolutely horrified if you ask them directly how much they're making. It's just not something you would do in Sweden, unless it is between Swedish co-workers, in which case you should definitely do it, as it promotes more equal pay. Number 16.
Yeah, that's something I also don't really like, you know, people going up to you and asking, look, how much do you make? I mean, you know, it's just weird. I don't know their intentions behind that question. You know, some people are very envious anyways. But how do you guys feel about that? And why are salaries posted online in Norway?
And never ever be late or too early to an appointment. Few things that will rile Swedish people up more than someone who is inherently late to everything. Trust me, I have a tendency sometimes to be that guy, especially in Italy or in France, and have not heard the end of it among certain circles, predominantly in Nordic countries. And this goes as well for showing up earlier too. I've literally heard some stories that some people in Sweden on their way to a dinner party stopping their car on the side of the road for like 10 or 15 minutes just to avoid to be too early for that party. Number 17, and
Yeah, I hate it when people are too early. You know, I get offended, you know. I remember there was an interview that I was gonna interview a person, and he arrived 30 minutes before. And then I felt like, you know, come on, aren't we supposed to meet 30 minutes later? Now I have to let you sit and wait. And then you're going to think I let you wait for 30 minutes outside, but I have other things to do now. And, you know, it's just very disappointing when people get there because you know someone's waiting for you. It's like when somebody opens the door for you to walk, but you're like 10 meters away, then you have to do that awkward run so that, you know, he won't stay there for a long time holding the door for you. That is something that is awkward on both sides because, you know, he opened the door for you, so, you know, he's kind. And if you don't do that awkward run, then, you know, you're rude. So you have to do that run because you want to be kind. But then again, you don't want to run. You want to take your time. And it's just an awkward situation. So avoid arriving too early because, you know, there's a time that was scheduled. And there's a reason that that's the time. And I don't want to inconvenience you by letting you wait, you know. And I also have other things to do. So it's confusing. Like, I don't like that. And if people are late also, it sucks. And also imagine like if somebody arrives 30 minutes early and then they call you and they're like, okay, I'm already here. And you feel bad. You're like, come on, he's already there and I'm not. So it feels like I'm arriving late. It's just wrong, you know.
Totally applicable and very much applicable for both Norway and Sweden. And never ever sit next to anyone on the bus or any sort of public transport if there is a room elsewhere. I bet you took this rule from your neighbors, guys. Swedish people, the same as Norwegians, are not very open to conversation and interactions with strangers, which I personally find really weird considering how talkative and active Swedish people are during their weekend parties. But
that also applies for the bathrooms. If you're a man and you're in the bathroom and there's a urinal empty next to you, like never, you know, that's just weird. Like if there's like 5 urinals, why would you go next to the person? Oh man, come on.
Sitting down next to someone on the bus or on the train when there are plenty of private sitting options available can be seen as a borderline act of aggression. That said, the worst reaction you're likely to see is a long trip of absolute silence or perhaps some very awkward small talk. If you're lucky. Number 18, and don't be a bigot. Okay, this might be an actual rule in some cases, and those criminal instead of an unwritten one. But even seemingly innocent remarks that comes even remotely close to bigotry or hate speech will in most Swedish circles be met with disgust and social ostracization. Number 19, do not expect.
I mean, that should be a rule everywhere, right?
Local business to be open in July. For sure,
July
might be one of the busiest travel months of the year in Sweden. So it might seem weird for the place to be closed when it might attract tons of tourists. The thing is, most of Swedish people tend to have time off and travel themselves during the month of July, including.
Is that the same thing as Italy's Ferragosto? Like in August, they're all closed?
Swedish people tend to have time off and travel themselves during the month of July, including Swedish business owners. So don't be surprised if you are met with closed for summer sign on the door of a local business you're trying to visit in July. And just don't freak out, as in larger cities, national as well as international business chains tend to be open during July. Number 20, don't be loud in public settings. And again, I can see a clear parallel with French culture. When Swedish people are asked to discuss American tourists, one of the most common remarks they usually tell
Americans
you, they're so loud.
are
This
loud.
thing is applicable to British tourists as well. I told this to many of my friends already. When you're in Sweden or in France, don't be surprised if you are met with scowls and muttering. If you shout, speak too loud, usual thing. Or speak with no consideration to your surroundings. Unless you're drunk on the weekend, then it's going to be absolutely fine according to binge drinking Swedish people. Number
Really?
21, and don't forget to small talk about the weather. Swedish people are not really good at small talk in general, but there is one common topic that unites all Nordic people, no matter if they're friends or strangers, is to talk about the weather. Number 22, absolutely identical for both Sweden and
The
Norway.
weather.
Do not show off your wealth. As a part of our Janteloven culture, it is frowned upon and borderline rule to show off how rich or powerful you are in Sweden or Norway. It has even resulted in affluent figures ranging from Prime Minister to CEOs living fairly modest public life without all these flashy items and lifestyle that you can usually see in other countries. Last but far not
That's so nice. Would you guys say that Swedish people are generally humble when it comes to well, anything actually? I mean, when somebody doesn't materialize things and they don't really care about the wealth enough to, you know, flash it around, it makes them I think a much humble person. And how do you guys feel about, you know, these hip-hop rap music videos where people are flashing money, throwing money over? Does that not happen in Sweden? Like, how are Swedish rappers? Do they rap around like a, I don't know, a Ford Fiat or something, a normal car? I don't know, how does that work?
at least number 23, and never ever forget to say thank you. Tack.
Thank you, tack.
Definitely go overboard with thanking people in general, and it doesn't even have to be for anything special. If I had $1 for every time somebody said to me "tack för senast," which means thank you for the last time we hang out, whenever we've been for a dinner or for fika with someone, I would likely have the GDP of Sweden on my bank account. While you definitely don't need to take it as far as Swedish people do, it's imperative to say thank you in most situations you feel could warrant it. When someone holds a door for you, when someone serves you coffee, etc. Otherwise, some Swedish people might think that you're a bit rude or coming from a neighboring country. Tusen tack. Oh, thank you so much for watching this one too, guys. Please let me know in the comments down below what you think. Which never do fact was the most fascinating from you? Please share your opinion down there. And for now, stay safe, be happy. And as our tradition goes, I will see you next week, guys. Only God knows from which country, but I'll see you soon. Love you so much, guys. Love you. Bye. Bye.
So she apparently travels a lot, I guess. She doesn't even know which country she's gonna be in and the next time we see her. Guys, that was a nice video. What did you guys think of it? Is it accurate? Is it true? Are there any other things I should be aware of? But thank you so much for watching. I look forward to watching more, reacting to more videos. And if you liked her channel, go check her out. And that's it, I guess. If you have any requests, there's a request form in the description. You can just follow the link from there and request a video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video, and take care now. Bye-bye. Now you can get full access to exclusive content, special reactions to shows, series, anime, full movies, and even request a video of your choice. Just become a YouTube member or join Buy Me a Coffee today. Find out more, the link is in the description.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right.